Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Joined by Mike in the studio. Good to see you back, mate. Good to see you back. Been a while.
Back.
Yeah, 0-0. Decent point. I feel a little bit like it was 2 points, not 2 points dropped because it wasn't an easy game kind of thing. But I feel like we had the opportunity to win it. But 0-0 stops the rot, I guess, is the way to look at it.
Yeah, I think the way the game played out, isn't it? That makes you feel like it's 2 points dropped.
Yeah.
I think going into the game, I probably took a draw.
Yeah.
I think big plus was the attitude change, wasn't it? Which, bad that we have to sort of mention that, because it should just be prerequisite of what you expect of them.
Absolutely.
But it was good to see them competing. Looked like they had a bit more of a plan about on what they were trying to do on the pitch. And yeah, in the end, good point stops the rot going into international break, which was key.
Yeah, didn't want to go into that with 4 defeats on the run, would have been a nightmare. But beforehand, the manager made some changes, obviously. Anthony Gordon come back into the side. I think every Evertonian was happy with that at the expense of Alex Iwobi. Luca Dean was fit again and come back into the back four. Ben Godfrey back. 2 centre-back, and Fabian Delph got a start, which I think he deserved after the Wolves game at the expense of Jean-Philippe Gbamin. And I was looking at it and thinking he should have really gone with 3 midfield, but the way he played, actually, Andros Townsend tucked in, so it was more a 4-3-3 or a 4-5-1, if you like, at times. And I think that was the right thing to do to make it competitive in there. But what I thought we did right from the very off was press them really well, particularly in the first half.
Yeah.
Townsend was key to that. And it made it uncomfortable for them. And obviously the story was all about them and Antonio Conte and they're going to do this and you're going to do that. And they went to 3 at the back and everything else. But I thought we pressed them really well and we set the tone. And because of that, I think the crowd responded as well.
100%, yeah. Come out, didn't he, with the right energy. And that energy, we feed off it, don't we?
Yeah.
And like you say, I think the formation definitely stifled them. They couldn't get a foothold in it. We were on them, we were pressing. They had a bit of possession, but nowhere possession.
Anywhere, was it?
And they never looked comfortable in that possession as well. So we were constantly on them. And, you know, it set up well, it worked well. And like you say, I think Townsend was definitely a bit more in the middle, and we needed to sort that middle of the park out. Obviously, the last few weeks it's been a major issue. I think bringing Delph back in, like you say, definitely deserved to come back in. But I like the fact that it frees up Alan a little bit more to be higher up pressing. It's something that I hope he looks at moving back when Decore's back as well. To maybe if we can play a bit of a 4-3-3 and have someone sitting. I think Alan game improves when he's hunting the ball a little bit. Yeah. You know, a bit Garner-esque in that way where he gets out and about and he's key to driving that pressure of putting the teams under pressure. And then Delph's just sat there disciplined, getting the ball out and work quite nice.
I think the key for that will be keeping Delph fit, won't it? I think if you do that and he does sit in that number 6 role kind of thing, you can have Alan and Decore then.
Yeah.
You're also going to get Decore breaking into the penalty area then, which is a key thing, and it's something we've seen. To use their buzzwords in the transitions and stuff, is that when we break on the counter attack, we haven't been as sharp without Decore. We knew that was going to happen. But it also is something we were just speaking about before we started with. It gives Townsend a blow as well, rather than flogging him till he's got nothing left. Yeah. If you're having a 3 of, say, Richarlison, Gray and Dom when he's back, you know, you can leave Townsend out
get
and
Gordon
then
out wide as well.
Come in and all of a sudden you're going to give yourself options. Yeah, it's vital we get these players back. You know, we're talking about, you know, Yerry Mina, you know, who's been although Michael Keane, I have to say, Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey had a really good game, so fair play to them. But I think Mina is someone who's knocking on the door if he's not already straight in the team. Yeah, Decore as well and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's the spine of the team. Absolutely. You know, and I think if you add that into it. And then you play with that tempo, I think it improves us again.
It does, and the thing is as well, it improves the bench, doesn't it? Because you turn it, because Premier League matches are quite often won and lost with the bench, aren't they? So those players that are in the starting lineup now then sit on the, you know, go on the bench and can make an impact from the bench. I think, you know, if you've got a Townsend to come on for the last 20 minutes or, You know, you've got
Gordon,
yeah, some sort of impact that can come off the bench. It makes a massive difference. I think with moving forward, if they can get that 4-3-3, though, watching a few of the other Premier League games going on, it just feels like that centre midfield, you need 3 in there to compete. And I know we do well with the 2 with the core in there.
Because he does the job at 2, man.
Because he does the job at 2. But again, you're asking a lot of him and you're putting all that emphasis just on one player. And we've shown as he goes out the team, as of last season as well, you have to rip everything up, and it's taking weeks to come up with a solution.
Yeah,
I just sort of feel like that centre middle thing is key to how we can use the wider players. You know, Damari Gray, getting them out on the attack, getting them into those holes and into the space is key to having 3 in midfield. I really do think that's the way forward, to be honest.
Maybe, and I mean, I guess they're going to have to look after Dom when he comes back, obviously. You can't just go straight back in. So maybe he'll be on the bench. So maybe that's what they'll persist with. But when they think he's fully up to speed, what to do with the Charlison, he's come out and said he wants to play through the middle. Yeah. So therefore you've got 2 of them. So it's whether or not, it's how he pieces together, because you can play the Charlison in the 4-4-1-1, because he can play off Dom and still be quite central, making it a 4-4-2 at times. It's whether he's happy to go wide again, do you know what I mean? But I suppose if you've got 3 busy players in the middle, then it can almost be a 4-3-2-1 with him and Gray. They can tuck right in, can't they? So it
can be fluid and they can interchange, can't they? You know, Dom can make a run into a channel, Richarlison can get into the middle, and it just makes it all.
I guess it's kind of what Spurs play, isn't it? They have Kane and they have Son and Moura either side. They're not wide players as such. They're tucked in. Yeah. But they're fullbacks going on the outside, which we don't get any with in the fullbacks. But well, we do from Luca Dean, we don't from Seamus, sadly, at the minute. I thought, like you say, I thought we started the game quite well. I thought, you know, we had the first shot on target, Ben Godfrey with breaking forward, and it was worth a go. I mean, he probably should have slipped Anthony Gordon in, but it was worth a shot.
Yeah, it's one like you're screaming sometimes for our players to shoot. I don't mind that.
No.
And he looked up for it, which was good.
Yeah, well,
a bit more Godfrey.
If he'd have caught it properly, it might have put Lloris under a bit of pressure, but he's forced to say. But that's what you want to see from Ben Godfrey. He's kind of been out of sorts for a few weeks since he come back, really. He had a good game at United at right back, but either side of those games, he's been all over the place. But I just thought yesterday he got back onto what he's good at, which is competing.
He looked comfortable, didn't he?
He was comfortable leaving tackles in, which Son will be testament to. He let him know that you know, we haven't forgotten about the Gomez stuff. But I just thought in general he was on top of his game, stronger in the air. It did help that Harry Kane just looks like he's either got a massive cob on or he just can't be asked.
It's
not
strange,
sure which one it was, because he's a fantastic player, Kane.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any stage of that game yesterday where I was concerned about him. Not one.
He looks a shadow of his former self, doesn't he? You know, and that's something for them to worry about as opposed to us. But yeah, I think, you know, for them, they need to get that sorted either in January and get him Zed straight or move him on, because it just isn't.
But Godfrey did well, didn't he?
I thought Godfrey was absolutely superb, and I think he's done it in the past with us where he can set the tone, even when it was behind closed doors, in terms of when he was up for it, the team seemed up for it. He could set the tone with them early tackles, getting stuck in, bit of aggression, and he probably had like a bit more of a set defined role of what he needed to do in terms of obviously looking after Son, looking after Kane, and if he's got a job to do, he can do it. Well, we know he can. He's just got to persevere. It's hard because we get players in, they do really well. They have a little dip. We suddenly all get on the back. We know he's a good player. We know he's got to, you know, it's hard to watch.
Is he a long-term centre-back for you?
100%.
Is he?
For me, absolutely.
You're not worried about his positional sense at times?
I am, but he's young. He's a young centre-back, playing alongside Michael Keane, which doesn't help. No, but it doesn't, does it? I mean, Keane can, you know, he can defend low block games and do well and that sort of stuff. But in terms
he's not a leader, is he?
He's not helping him through the game. So, no, I think long term, you know, I think at the minute, I think it's ideal where he can fill in a few different positions. get a bit more experience. But what were 23?
22, 23.
Yeah, so
got time,
for a centre back. But I think long term, it's where he wants to be. And it's where he looks most focused.
Yeah.
I think he's one we, him and Mina to me are our best centre back. I know statistically it's Michael Keane, isn't it? But I would imagine that's a lot of the type of games we're playing in. But I'd like to just see long term
those two.
Those two, yeah.
I mean, it was Michael Keane. I thought had a good game as well.
Did, yeah.
It was the two centre backs who had our first 2 attempts at goal. And Michael Keane one was more, he was trying to head the ball across the box after Delph had done a lovely little reverse ball. But it was a good idea off a free kick, wasn't it? It was a good idea, and Keane just couldn't quite get it across. But I just thought we looked really comfortable in the game. I thought Delph was really good, and I'm not his biggest fan, and not because I said this yesterday to the people around me. I don't think there's many games where Delph's played. I don't think there's many games where Delph's played first and foremost, but I don't think there's many games where Delph's played where you've gone, he's not good enough. I don't think it's that with him. He's just not been available enough for us, and it's dragged on and on and on that. And he had a little spat with fans and stuff, and he's not made himself the most popular.
No.
But when he plays and his head's on it, he's a good footballer.
Yeah.
He played under Pep Guardiola for years. He's not.
I'll be honest.
He's not a mug. But I just thought yesterday, for an hour, and I've seen people on social media going, "Why did he come off? It's a joke. The manager, this, that, and the other." He was knackered by the time he went off, and I think the plan was an hour.
It's about time we started managing players properly.
Yeah.
I thought afterwards it was interesting because he got asked a question about Delph in the interview, Benitez, and he said, I don't know the guy's name. He's brought that guy in, hasn't he, from Newcastle?
Yeah, Fernandes. Yeah.
And he referenced that about Delph.
The rehabilitation. Yeah.
So he said, so that's interesting. Obviously, they're the type of things that Benitez would be looking at as well. And he's had a good performance second half against Wolves. Great hour against Tottenham. If he plays the 90 minutes, do we not see him again for another 3 months? So they're the things where you do need to manage the situation and understand the player. And
they have all that red zones and all that they're monitoring throughout the game. Yeah. So as a fan, you're there going, why is he taking them off? But because when he put his number up, I was thinking, it's a little bit early, and we're sort of comfortable in this game. Is this gonna?
The fact it was bang on the 60-minute mark was obviously all preempted. They knew exactly what they were doing. But it was a bit like, because he was having such a good game, he was so influential.
But you know what, Tom Davies, come on, he's not everyone's cup of tea, I get that. But I thought he did quite well there. He didn't have the same impact as Delph, don't get me wrong, but I thought he did okay. Alan and him were all right, after that. And, but no, it was good. It was good to see Delph playing well, and he probably man of the match, really. If there was a few, but like I say, Godfrey and Keane I thought were excellent, but I thought he did well. But in that first half, like you say, it was just that final ball. We had Luca Dean put a superb volley across the 6-yard box. No one was in there. And I guess it was just those moments where Richarlison, who I thought had a really good game as well, he was coming out and being busy, but no one was getting in the box. So once he wasn't in there,
isn't it? Following.
You needed the core, or that's what happens when we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and you forget how good he is because we haven't seen him, have we? He's in that 6-yard box and Richarlison's linking, and you're just thinking if we had Gray and even I know you're saying about the 3 midfield, and I agree, but even the first few games of the season when we just had the 2, we had Townsend, Gray, Richarlison, Dom. Yeah. There was a front 4 that it was causing people issues, and the core was breaking as well. People had problems with balls into the box and stuff, whereas yesterday we just couldn't get enough bodies in the penalty area, could we?
No, we weren't, and I think maybe as well tactically it was a little bit, let's be a little bit more cautious as well because of the way we've been defending recently. But no, you're right. Obviously, a team like most Premier League teams, you lose a player like Calvert-Lewin, it's going to have a massive impact, and certainly for us, but I thought Richarlison led the line well. It's night and day to obviously having the tree. Just someone out and about, busy, showing, but it's the passion as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Comes across, he wants it, you can see it. So I thought there were chances, like you say, we flashed the ball across, but those balls, that's what I think helps with the atmosphere. It starts getting you up a little bit, and there were moments, different things. Like Gray had a few good touches, and second half, wasn't it? He had the
chance.
That chance.
But he put even him in the first half. He faced the defender and whipped a great ball in, and Richarlison went for it, but it fizzed across, and it's like no one's coming in on the back post. Coleman stood one up, but it just went across everyone. There was moments. Spurs had one I can remember where Harry Kane had a shot, Michael Keane made a good block. And the only other real opportunity they had in the first 45 was one right on half time. And Seamus Coleman should have brought Son down really, or done a tactical foul. He just allowed him, because he followed him right the way across the pitch. Allowed him to lay the ball off, and then wasn't where he should have been. And Reguilon coming at the back post and volleyed it over, and it was like, you should have brought him down there or dragged him back. I know you can go, would have been a yellow card, but do a tactical foul.
That could have quite easily
because it could have ended up in the net, and you're going, these have done nothing in the winning one.
Absolutely.
Because you've let them, it's those the little moments. But we got in at half time, and they'll come out second half. Again, I just thought they come out and had a busy 3 or 4 minutes. Spurs, which I'd have expected them to after Conte that way, but then it kind of fizzed out into the game of feeling each other. That wasn't a great technical game of football. I think tactically it was decent because both managers were trying stuff, but we had the big talking point was arrived just after the hour. And just after Delph had gone off actually. And it was the penalty. The penalty that wasn't given.
The penalty that wasn't a penalty. That was a penalty.
I think it was a penalty. I've watched it about 100 times now, and I think it's a penalty. I don't believe a goalkeeper finger stroking the top of a ball means that he's cleanly got the ball.
Not when he then hooks the player's leg.
Hooks the player. So it's similar to, I guess, if we're going to talk about the red card later, of like one follows the other. So for me, it was a penalty because the whole thing, we've got some. Let's have a look at these and we'll go into it in bigger detail. We've just got a couple of screenshots. Here's the one where Richarlison's obviously got to the ball, and you can see on this that Lloris has got his hand on Richarlison's leg, hooking him down. So, because Richarlison does motion towards the ball anyway, and he hooks him down, and then the second image it shows, this is the VAR one when Cavani went over to look at it. There's Richarlison's toe, so he's away from Lloris already. Now, if he toes that away and then Lloris's finger strokes the ball, well, that's after Richarlison's touch, and he stopped Richarlison getting to it. So for me, that was a penalty, because I think when you go to VAR, my understanding of it is they're checking for a clear and obvious mistake. There's no clear and obvious mistake there. No. It's a penalty. And the referee, it's not like Richarlison, it's not like Lloris has just flicked the ball away and hasn't made any contact with Richarlison. Or Richarlison's threw himself over him after he's cleared the ball. He takes him out. So for me, that should have stood. I mean,
instant reaction was in the ground. It was a pen. The ref gives the pen, like you say. If you then go and see the replays and go, it actually quite clearly wasn't. He's got a big hand on it. Richarlison's made it that. Fair enough. We've all watched it about 1 million times, and I also understand that if that wasn't given as a penalty and it went to VAR, I wouldn't expect it to be overturned to a penalty. In my opinion, I think it's real borderline touching, of if it wasn't given, was it clear and obvious that it should have been? I don't know. I think, in my opinion, it's a pen, but it's borderline. But you've given it. But my thing, and I said to you off camera, is when I was in the ground and he's going over to check it, because of the fact that we had the ball, an open net, I was convinced that you'd have to stick with giving it, because he hasn't played any advantage on.
Well, we've got the still. Let's see the still of where it is. So Lloris is on his knees. Richarlison's away from him. There's nobody in the goal. There's one defender on the 6-yard box. I think it's Eric Dyer. You've got Richarlison and Tom Davies with the ball. So if one of them just curls it over Dyer, it's a goal. And yet the referee, instead of just letting that run on and seeing if we shoot and then going, it was a penalty. I've played advantage, but there's no advantage. It's a penalty. He stops the play. So he stops us with possession of the football, with no goalie. And then goes and looks at VAR, which is fine. Go and look at it. And then see if it's a clear and obvious mistake, which it wasn't. It was a penalty. So it should have been
and to me, I understand that. Or I don't understand actually, but is whether they should take into account what's happening there, I don't know. But surely, if I'm making that decision, That's in my head when I'm looking at that screen going, oh, it's borderline, but they had the ball in an open goal. I need to stick with it. And I don't think anyone would have argued. Even opposition fans, they'd have gone, it's a pen. So I don't, it's not like it was a blind and obvious error, and he's having to overturn it. It's not.
That's
so.
The thing. And to make it even worse,
the bounce. I mean,
he gave the ball to Lloris, which is even worse because not only did he robbed us of a penalty,
with that.
robbed us of the opportunity to shoot, he then gave them the ball, which is just bizarre.
It was madness. But if Lloris was like, almost like, do I need to give them this back? And the ref's going, no.
I mean, this is the fella that disallowed Dominic Calvert-Lewin's winner against Manchester United, which was...
Was it him, was it? Yeah.
It was him, and then sent Carlo Ancelotti off.
Right.
He's an awful referee.
Yeah.
He's incompetent. Shown that many times he's had Everton.
Yeah.
The fella in the VAR is definite. The amount of things he's given against us over the years is incredible. More than I reckon any other team. John Moss, he's horrific. He's a horrific referee, in my opinion. He's terrible. And this is why I don't agree with referees being in the VAR room. I don't agree with it. Because A, you're carrying an agenda into a room.
Yeah.
You know? And B, these are your mates who you're looking at. And if you're a referee, if me and you don't know each other, you're an independent fella in a VAR room, and we're having a conversation, then I'm not bothered. If I'm the referee and I think I'm not bothered about upsetting you, I go, no, it's a penalty. Yeah. And you're going, well, or you're not bothered about upsetting me. Yeah. You're going, that's a penalty, or you've got that wrong. Yeah. It's not like, well, Mike, you're making me look stupid here. Yeah. Like in Germany, I think it's all independent. Right. So they've got VAR specialists, whoever they have.
Why does it seem to work?
But they're not referees because we're incompetent, or there's something else going on. Yeah. No, but that's all you can look at. They're either not very good at the job, or there's something else going on. Yeah. There's no grey area.
Or a bit of both, to be honest.
So, because all I want, and I thought VAR would do this, right, is consistency. Yeah. Absolutely. We saw, we'll talk about the sending off in a minute, but we saw straight after our game a challenge for me that's worse than what Holgate. Yeah. I'm not defending Holgate, and I'll say why in a minute. But we saw Aaron Cresswell in the game after, which I think's worse. Yeah. Didn't get sent off. And it's that kind of inconsistency. It was like what you said, wasn't it, with
the Tarkowski one on
Richarlison? Tarkowski on Richarlison, the same challenge as Mason Holgate, the same, put Richarlison out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it was very close to being an injury that might have ended the season for him.
We didn't
get a free kick for it. And VAR, quick look.
Did they even look at it?
Probably not. And it's that kind of thing. There's no, if it's consistent, at least you can say, well, people could turn around to me and go, what are you talking about then?
See, for me, VAR, I thought, would be brought in for exactly what it says, clear and obvious. If you have to take minutes and minutes and minutes and angles, it's not obvious. You should just be a case of you can look at it and within 10 seconds you can go, yeah, it is what it is.
We played Spurs a few years, the Gomez
the handball one.
Who was in the VAR that day?
Oh, was it?
Who was it?
Was it Moss?
Yeah, John Moss. And there was 2 penalties, a red card, 2 red cards. Yeah. Because if you remember, was it Davison Sanchez? Might have been Sanchez. I think he knocked the ball past him and he dragged him back.
Oh, what? Yeah.
Took him out. Didn't get. He was the last man.
Yeah,
no red card. There's Moss, Man City. I can go. There's just honestly the amount of decisions he's done where even other referees have come out and gone, he's got that wrong. That one, the Spurs one. The next day there was 3 different referees who were like, I don't know what game the officials were watching. There was 2 Stonewall penalties. Yeah. Red card should have been given. And all of that. And that's not even without Sons. People still think it was. If you were in the ground that day, you knew it was a red card because he chased him and jumped through the air.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he meant to break his leg.
No,
of course he didn't.
He meant to foul him.
But he wanted to foul him because he had the common. And that these officials are still allowed to just do what they need to do. Yeah. And that I don't like that.
Do you know where as well? I was talking to one of my mates, and part of where I've even got more. Have you watched the Juventus thing?
Yeah.
I mean,
bad sport, yeah. And that just shows you.
It's so easy though, isn't it?
It just shows you.
It's so easy.
In fact, I've watched all of them, and it just shows you once that comes into play,
yeah,
everything else goes out of it.
It's so easy to happen, and I think
if any Spurs fans are watching and going, "Oh, I'm just talking about it right the way across the board," because there was that referee was terrible. There was one at the start of the second half with Lucas Moura. I thought Michael Keane just cleaned them out. And he didn't give the free kick.
He did, yeah.
He cleaned them up. He didn't get the... I thought so anyway. I haven't really seen that one again, but I was thinking, that was a definite foul to them. And he didn't give it. But Spurs will have been on the end of some terrible decisions as well. I'm just talking about with VAR, what I want from it. It's just a clear pitch for everybody.
Yeah.
For everybody. And then if you get beat, or if an incident happens, you go, well, not a pen. Because you know when it happened to Liverpool yesterday, you know when it happened to United, it wasn't given either.
Well, the thing
we go, but that was given the other day for them. And that was given. What did everyone say yesterday? Everybody said, if that was the other way round, or if that was at Anfield or Old Trafford, it's a penalty.
Yeah, and they're right. And that's the thing, they're right. The thing for me is when it was brought in, I naively thought it would stop.
So did I.
And again, one of my mates, he's a Man City fan, and he said it will make it easier for them. And I actually was naive to think that, because
people said that to me, and I was going, it can't. How can they? Because it'll show that the
exactly.
But I hold my hands up.
They don't even
massively
care.
Wrong. They don't care.
Because the season before, when they brought it in, when Liverpool were pushing City for the league, and they scored about 5 goals from like 6 yards offside jobs. Yeah. And I thought, well, it'll stop.
That'll be gone. Yeah.
But it doesn't stop the confusion. It doesn't stop us talking about referees' decisions. You know, again, it was sort of brought in to go, the game should be about the game and not talking about the rest. Well, we're talking about them even more now. Yeah. Now there's 2 of them.
That's the thing. You see, I'm like you, Mike. It's exactly the same mindset. I thought they won't be able to do it now. Yeah. I thought it'll all be out and the media will kick up, forgetting
it's
that
all an agenda. The media are the agenda.
It's all their teams.
Yeah.
The teams they want to protect.
And they love it because it's good for telly, innit? Because they want to fit a TV game.
Well, Ned said, you know, he wanted me to talk about the Fabian Delph booking in the first half. Now, I'll be honest, at the time, I thought it was I thought he took him out, he had to take him out.
Yeah.
Because it just happens quickly, doesn't it? And I hadn't seen it again, and he sent me the still, and Delph gets the ball.
Yeah.
His foot's full on the ball, saying he doesn't catch him. Now, when you go in like that, you run the risk of them going, it's a booking, because they'll say excessive force or whatever. But his foot is fully on the ball first, and Moura goes over him. I kind of understand why they do it, but that kind of thing. But when it goes to VAR, the whole point is that thing, and I can't stress it enough. Yeah. It's a clear and obvious mistake, which this was not.
To me, that penalty incident should never been referred back to Kavanagh to go and look at it.
No, ever.
It should just be, we've checked it.
It's a pen. But you've got John Moss. You see, you get another fella who hasn't got the agenda, or who's actually capable of doing his job, will turn around and go to, it's a penalty. You've got it right to penalty.
Because as soon as you ask that referee to go and look at it, you've planted that seed of doubt in his head.
Yeah, but we can't hear what they're saying.
I know.
And that's why we can't hear.
You know why I don't like
the TV
companies can't they?
If it was transparent, though, they'd be saying that everyone can hear it. And he'd just be going, oh, does the keeper get it? So, and then you can go, that conversation they were having there, okay, I understand what he was saying, but blah, blah, blah. But anyway, listen, we're not going to solve VAR because they haven't got a clue how to do it. If it happened to another team, there'd be uproar. If this was, you know, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, there'd be uproar about this penalty not being given. There'd have been a debate, Match of the Day, they'd done a section on it. There'd have been an article on it. You know, we seen a 15-page article last week because Aaron Ramsdale got a fingertip to a free kick, and all of a sudden it was the greatest save anyone's ever made. They'd done an article on his legs, how much cereal he eats in the morning to spring. It was nonsense. And that's what you're up against in the media. You're up against nonsense. It wasn't given.
Yeah.
And, you know, we went on, and again, I think both teams just lacked in the final third. I think that's what it was, really.
It did. I thought, obviously the pen wasn't given, but I thought, what I was pleased with, though, I thought we reacted well to it not
we
being
didn't
given.
let our heads go down.
I thought we actually got the energy in the stadium.
Goodison just needs a crap ref, doesn't it?
It's a good job
we can talk about the atmosphere, but you know, I think what, like the original lads who were trying to get the atmosphere going, we need to just maybe get a ref in a cage or something and have him there, because that gets Goodison flying, doesn't it?
It does. He brings it all together.
He brought it together. And to be honest, we probably needed that because it kept... They were making changes, but they didn't really affect it. The only...
Other than, if you're a neutral watching that game, you would be you'd just be thinking there's only going to be one winner, and if it would be us just. But you're thinking but obviously us being Everton, you're thinking they're going to get something late on. But they were just wearing a threat.
No.
At all. I thought we defended them well.
Well, we made another sub, didn't we? And the other sub probably gave them more of a threat than what they'd had. Yeah. Which was, Alan was obviously running on empty by this stage, and he put...
Again, I had no issue with that, by the way.
You know what?
Managing the situation.
I've said before about Mason Holgate playing in midfield, because I thought he'll sit in front of the back four. He's done it for a couple of games, and he was disciplined, and he's mobile, isn't he? Yeah. Thought he'll compete, get his tackles in. So when he took him off, I was like, okay, obviously doesn't fancy Gbamin to do it. So Holgate...
Which is strange, isn't it?
All right. I find it strange, but then fair enough, he was positionally all over the place. I think for Gbamin, if he's gonna start getting the game and we're gonna see how his development is, he's got to play in the midfield three, and he's got to have someone who's sitting. It's just while he gets used to it. We're talking about a lad who's started his first game last week for over 2 years, but he's only been on the pitch about 3 times in the Premier League.
That all makes sense, but what I find strange was the Watford game, he doesn't bring him on. Okay, so he's not ready, whatever. Why is he on the bench? That's a separate question, but okay, he hasn't brought him on. Then suddenly he's starting a game, then he's hooked at half-time, then he's not coming back on when it's a real strange... I mean, obviously we don't know the ins and outs of what's going on behind the scenes, but it's a very strange scenario.
I personally think you put him in the midfield with Allen, and especially while he was over with Allen and Delph. Yeah, and you allow him to go and
let Delph sit.
Let Delph sit. You've got that. Sure. You don't have to worry about the positional side of it, and he can go and start getting into the game. Because before his injury, he was good. He was very, very good. Yeah. And he looked like he'd be perfect for us. I don't think he'd become a bad player overnight, but obviously, well, over 2 years, it's that thing of getting back up to speed and playing in a different league. But he went for Mason Holgate. I wasn't thinking what's he doing. But about 2 minutes after he come on, I was thinking, what's he doing? Because he come on and was all over the place.
The lad's just gone. I don't know what
happened. It started with him. We had a lovely little move on the edge of their box, and he played it into him, and he just flicked it to nowhere and got caught, and they broke on us, and it was like...
I watched, so before I came here, so I wanted to see that again. Obviously, I wanted to watch the tackle. But when he gives the ball away just before that, he gets up, and... instead of reacting to running back, his first reaction is to blow snot out of his nose. And do you know, and I know I'm being real petty here, but it's that, I don't know, he's got this sort of attitude. He to me, at the minute, that when I watch him, is everything that's sort of wrong with us at the moment. Nice. Bit of swag, it's like, mate, you just need to knuckle down and do the basics here. He gets up and he's like, and then he starts chasing back, and you're like, I don't understand why is he just go and get after him. He looked headless chicken, didn't he? Let's just have it right. He's been like this for...
He looks to me like
a couple of seasons,
a player who is frustrated he's not getting in the team.
He gets the opportunity, he doesn't take them.
But he's not doing anything to warrant him playing in the team. So he's got that thing of, it seems... I don't know him, so I couldn't tell you if he's got an attitude. People can look at it and go, he's got an attitude, chewing gum and all that. I personally don't look at all that. I just look at what he does on the pitch. But he looked like, I'm going to show you, but didn't actually do anything. And he gave the ball away because he's dwelling on the ball. This is the first one.
Yeah.
Then he's all right. He sits in for 5 or 6 minutes and we're okay. And then he starts getting on the ball and he's moving it a little bit. And then that one, the ball's played into him. And all he has to do, he can see the pressure, but he's got Michael Keane here. Oh, just play a ball pass and drop off and get it back. And he tries to do a stupid turn. They pinch it off him and off they go, and it goes out to Lo Celso and he cuts in and hits the post. And you're like, we could have lost that game because you're not switched on enough to just lay a ball off, drop, get it back. You're not good enough to get it and start flicking it through people's legs and travelling with it. keep it nice and sharp when the pressure's on.
And certainly when you would imagine the manager's instructions would have been to keep it simple.
He's not the one going to win it for us, is he? So he's going in to go, sit where you're at.
And when he's come on...
Give us the basis to play. Be strong in the tackle.
Yeah.
And just keep everything ticking over.
Just do the simple things.
Because Tom Davis went doing
they reversed the role, didn't he? Yeah.
And it was that thing of like, he was so weak in receiving the ball, but just pop it off.
Yeah.
It was just mad, because when you can see in the crowd, and they break, and if that ends up in the net in the 90th minute, you're like, we've lost the game that we shouldn't have lost. You know, the same.
Through another error.
So that was West Ham, was a flip of a coin.
Yeah.
He scored off a set piece. Watford with 15 minutes to go was a comfortable home win, and we get beat. And that could have been, you know, a game no way we should have lost, and we get beat. You know, just fortunately for us, it hit the post and come out.
Yeah.
And then a couple of minutes later, whether he's wound up then because he's almost cost us the game, I don't know. But he goes and...
It's just not in the game, is it?
No, it's not. If you... The best players are players who are able to keep the head and play in the team. If you're coming on with this attitude, I don't want to say attitude.
I'll say attitude.
No, but it's not that. What I mean
is, he's got a bit of a
if you're frustrated, you've still got to play for your team and not yourself. Yeah. And I think at the moment, a few of them are playing for themselves over the last few weeks. Yeah. And this is what he was doing in this game. It was about him. Yeah. It was about me showing I'm a big tough man, I'm a this and that. He goes in for that tackle. And it's mad. We're going to look at it. Let's have a look at it. Let's see. So this is what the referee's going to look at, because he wins. See, the first thing is he wins the ball. He gets the ball first and foremost. But then, so the referee's gone to look at it, because obviously the follow through, which we're going to put on screen now, here's the impact. So his legs have left the floor. Now, this is a really... When you see that, you go, well, you can have no complaints. Look where his feet are. His legs are off the floor, and his foot is into the back of Højbjerg's leg. He can have no complaints. I'll be honest, in real time, I thought he'd red card him. Yeah. I was amazed when he pulled the yellow card out. Yeah. I said to mate next to me, he's got away with that there. Yeah. Forgetting that he'd then be the fair to that. And when it went to VAR, I said he's off. Yeah. Even before he come over, I went, he's off here. Yeah. And he was like, nah, he got the... I was like, nah, he's off. Yeah. Because...
I was the same. I thought, to be honest, I think it is a red in modern day football.
Yeah, no, but I'd not disagree. I do think it's a red card. What I'm saying is, we've all, and everyone watching this will have been on the end of those tackles, and you just get up because it's it. They'll put the centre back or midfield has won the ball, so you go, got the ball first. That was the phrase since time began. He got the ball first. I know, but your studs have ended up in my thigh. I know, but I got the ball first, so I was winning the ball. When you go in like that, I always think if you're going in like that, the natural thing of your foot is to come up. I know you think he then extended it.
I think there's
not sure, but I do agree with you. The action was to leave something on Højbjerg, and that's made up before you get the ball. So you'll see his gritted teeth because he's thinking, I'm going right through you. This was Jamie Carragher's trademark tackle. I remember him doing it on Pienaar after about 90 seconds, or about 30 seconds of a Merseyside derby.
You'd see week in, week out when you're 10, 15 years ago.
Never got booked, but his foot's gone up into him, and you go, well, that is in modern day football, it's a red card. It's just that I don't know how he's supposed to stop with that tackle and that. And what annoys me is that was the argument that was used for Cresswell an hour later. How's he supposed to stop? Well, he's off the ground. He's jumped into it. You've just seen Holgate. It's worse. Cresswell, I mean, I could have put it up. I've got it on my phone. He's in mid-air and he catches Henderson. It's a red card and it wasn't given. And if he'd have been sent off, I'd have gone, well, because look, Holgate's gone off and deservedly so. Cresswell's gone off and deservedly so. And I think that's
We're all glad Cresswell didn't go off, though, aren't we?
Oh, listen, I'm not going on about it. Fair play to the lad. What I mean is, it's that consistency that winds me up. It's not that was a red card or it wasn't a red. It's just the
not
fact
even
that,
weeks later.
No, like the next game.
It's crazy,
so it's that That's the frustration for me.
But also as well, what you're saying as well, in terms of, well, he got the ball first thing, which is absolutely right. And he used that the opposite way around for the Richarlison one.
For the penalty, yeah.
You know, it's like, well, he got the ball first, well, so did Holgate. Which one is it?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You
that's
know,
what I'm saying. So
okay, if the goalie does touch it, well, then he wipes out Richarlison. So, yeah.
It's a mad one, but I know people disagree with me. Some have already disagreed with me. They didn't think it was a red card, but I think it was a red card. I mean, once your leg ends up in some, how can you say it? Because it's endangering an opponent.
When you're looking at them, I would just flip them and go, if that was against us, I'd be fuming. It'd be a red card. If that was against, that's why I always try and look at it. And to me, that's
he's endangering an opponent, and that's what
meant
the law is, because he's gone
definitely meant to.
They've not like both. You see somewhere you go, he's just got there a fraction before him. He swung for the ball, and you've got there, and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And you go, oh my God, but you can see that they've gone for the ball.
Yeah.
But then I suppose people say, yeah, well, Holgate went for the ball. It's just that his momentum took him through.
Different, yeah.
It's hard, for me, it was a red card, but the thing that winds me up more than anything is the inconsistency. And that's the bit I don't like.
No.
But listen, the other thing that wound me up as well was we then get a corner Tom Davies does brilliance, gets us a corner the 95th minute, and we've got Luca Dean curling a corner out when we hadn't won a header in the box all day. So what I want Everton to start doing is putting them underneath the crossbar, curling them in. Because if it takes any nick, we saw West Ham. In fact, West Ham done it against Liverpool as well. An hour later, in swinging corners, any touch, it's a goal.
Yeah.
You know,
put someone in front of the goalie.
Bend it in. If he takes it, he takes it. But if it gets a nick, because when you see that corner, it's bent out. Everton have got 4 men at the near post and 1 at the far post, and it goes to the far post to, I think it might be Ben Godfrey, who isn't the greatest in the air anyway, and it flicks off the Tottenham head, and they, luckily, Doherty's not very good, and he kicks it out for a throw, and otherwise they might have been on the break. But an in-swinger, I just think you've always got a chance of it nicking off someone's head and ending up in the net.
Or like we said, or even getting a corner again or something. Thing is as well, it's no one you're playing against. Where you're saying the goalie come out, I've never seen Lloris come out and catch anything.
He doesn't come like that.
So
he normally drops it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's quite erratic, isn't he? Put someone in front of him. Yeah, just the little marginal things, aren't they? In Premier League games, they make a massive difference. But you know, who've we got on the pitch to take that?
I mean, to be honest, I was then undermining my own argument, because I was going, well, who can actually kick a ball?
Which is bad though, isn't it?
Professional footballers yet, mate. Especially when most of our players are right-footed. Yeah. And you're going, could he take one? Well, Anthony Gordon was still on the pitch, and I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, when you actually stop and go, could they actually take one? That is quite embarrassing.
It is worrying, isn't it?
When, you know, you've got kids teams, there's about 8 of them.
£500,000 squad and we can't take a corner.
But there you go. I mean, that's something we've got to work on, set plays both. But on I suppose, a positive note, I know they only had 1 or 2 corners. But
well, he changed it up a little bit, didn't he? Yeah. So he changed it up and put a bit more man marking on mixed with zonal. So, in fact, that was probably the thing.
And we defended. We defended it all right, didn't we?
I thought we defended them well, and I thought as soon as we like you say, didn't have many corners, but was it late in the first half, the first corner, was it?
I think so, yeah. And they got one midway through the second half.
And once we got it away, you just felt like bit of confidence.
We haven't conceded.
Yeah. But there was a couple of plus points over the day. I thought Luca Dean looked a bit more like Luca Dean.
He did, yeah.
Ben Godfrey looked a bit more like the Ben Godfrey from last season. So, you know, we just we needed that. I know it's not a win. You don't really want to celebrate a draw, but you need a nice, stop the rot, get into the international break, get some players back. Obviously, the ones who are still not going away for international can work on stuff with Benitez and well, so it's there's a lot of positives to take from it off the back of 3-4 weeks of.
I've seen a few Spurs fans comments where like Everton didn't have the best 3 players and we were only able to scrape a draw and things like that. So I mean that is a real thing of. We did have 3 important players out at that side, and they, Tottenham, will be, Antonio Conte will get them sorted as well. So, you know, we have just got to take what we can get and we move on without these players. But let's have a look at the stats for the game, the overall stats. Everton had 12 shots, Tottenham's 8. 2 on target for the Blues, none for Spurs. It's now 4 hours or something since they last had a shot on target.
That's incredible, isn't it?
No big chances for Everton, 1 for Spurs, which is the Reguilon one. 45% possession for the Blues, 55 for Tottenham. So, yeah, I mean, we could argue overall.
I think it's the penalty incident, isn't it, where we feel like it's it's a missed opportunity. If you're a neutral watching the game, a draw is probably a fair outcome of that game. But for me, the big positives is just that there was some positives to take from it. We haven't seen that for a few weeks. Pickford solid. No, this season, I mean, it's been underplayed. I think because I've been a critic of Pickford, as you know, when I've been in the past. I think this season he's been absolutely on it. He's considering what's going on in front of him as well, for him to stay focused and pull off some big saves, a lot of karma. Toffee's a massive bonus. Look at Dean. I know going forward wasn't amazing, but he looked disciplined defensively. So there's,
and especially when they've got the way they were playing a different system as well. And they almost had 2 players over there at times on him. Yeah, we
need them back up and running and getting back to the levels. And there's stuff to come. Still really, we can get a few back over the next couple of weeks.
Most definitely. Let's have a look at Allen and Delph. They had a little comparison about their performance. So Fabian Delph had 50 touches, I think that is. Passing accuracy 86%, 8 long balls, 3 tackles, 3 interceptions. Allen had 51. Touches 85% passing accuracy, 3 long balls, 4 tackles, no interceptions. So those two were good alongside each other, very good. Both experienced.
Each other.
Yeah, both very experienced. And I think you're right, what you were touching on before, is that you put the core in there as well and have them as a 3 at times. Then maybe it gives us
I like
a bit
Allen
more industry.
Not in the sitting. I know this might get slated for it, but I don't think he's very good when he just sits. I really don't. I think he wants to go.
Well, I think what's been good this season is with what Benitez has done is he's given them both the free. So when we started the season with everybody fit, well, near enough, most players fit. Him and the core were up and down. So they were almost like what midfield players used to be. You're actually supposed to run up and down. Not supposed to just sit and go, I sit in a 6 or I do this. And they were good. So it was helping us. We looked really dangerous. And then what's happened is, obviously, the Corey's got injured and we've asked him to go and be the defensive midfielder. And I thought, particularly against Wolves in the first half, I know Gabamon, people slated Gabamon, but Allen had no discipline at all. He didn't sit in for him. He didn't cover for him. He was ragged and there was a big gap. So, but I thought, because he is essentially a player who likes to go and press.
Well, I watched an interview with him and he said that exact thing.
Well, for Napoli, his best, he got the Mazzazio or something it's called.
Right.
What he called it anyway, which essentially is a player that runs up and down. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He's not, so that Napoli, they had someone who sat. And he went off, it was Jorginho, was it? I think, who sat, and he went off and done the pressing, which enabled him to, he used to get a few goals, not loads, but he'd score a few assists, but he was all round harrying because he likes to do that. And Benitez freed them up a little bit more, so he was doing that. But I think you're right. I think if you get Delph, if you can keep him fit, which is the if, you sit him in.
And I know everyone hates him, but I don't mind Tom Davies in that sat role.
Well, if you leave him in there and go, that's what you're supposed to do, do not vacate, then they can go. But
he can take the ball under pressure quite well, I think.
But I think that's what, to be honest, I think that's what Ancelotti wanted Gabamon for. That's what he'd hoped, because that's what he did for Mainz. He wanted him to sit.
To be honest, I'd not really seen him play before, and obviously I haven't seen him play fair. I don't really know what type of midfield player he is, but I think...
but at the moment, he's not. He needs games and games and games. I'd be playing him in the 23s as well, to be honest.
Why is that not happening?
I would literally be saying, you're playing the next 2 games, you're going to be on the bench for us, and you're playing in the 23s, just to get used to playing in matches with... I know you're only playing against kids, but go and stand out then. Go and get used to dropping in and getting it and popping it off.
Which makes sense, obviously. Strange one.
But not listen. It was a point. It stopped like we said, it stopped the run of defeats. We can go into this international break. Hopefully, like you said, the core is either back or he's close to being back by the time we play City. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will have had another couple of weeks rehabilitation and training and stuff. Yerry Mina, the manager said after the game, Mina's starting training next week. He's not going away with Colombia, which is good. So he's starting training, with the team next week. And you know, we go into a really tough run of games now, and a lot of games, so we need as many players. Andre Gomez, I imagine, will be, or should be fit.
Gomez as well is another one that you sort of forget about. Yeah,
just like you said before, it's the bench.
But
it's the bench.
Was it the Burnley game?
Burnley when he come on.
He was superb. But it's those sort of things, the marginal gains in Premier League games, and it's marginal stuff. So it's like bringing him on. You know, if he's there for Watford, does it happen?
Doesn't
you know, like
it's all he gets hold of the ball.
Yeah,
and we're easy to go, this squad's crap, because it is down to the bare bones. But you're also talking 4 or 5 players who aren't available, who make it the ones who go into the team make the team go from here to here.
And then the bench goes from
But then the bench improves, and you know, one of the big things before we go, we should celebrate from yesterday. We didn't have 2 goalies on the bench. We only had 1 goalie on the bench. And we had me name 9 subs, so there you go.
Wow.
Signs that things are getting slowly better.
Definitely.
1 goalkeeper. Big thanks to Mike. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. We're carrying on over on Patreon now with some questions from our patrons. But thanks for joining us. See you later.